What's going on, family? I'm Robert Ballard,
And I'm Jamillah Ballatts.
and we are the
Ballatts.
Ballatts. What's going on? So listen, tonight we want to jump into this topic. I'm a little passionate about. I think the world needs to hear this. But tonight we want to talk about men and mental illness. Is before I jump into it, you have anything to add to that?
No, I just want to explain that we
Go
didn't
ahead.
really put ourselves together on purpose. Okay, that's it.
You what? Babe, so listen,
I said that's
in
it.
this whole social media world where everybody beating their face and makeup and
Babe,
doing
you
that,
didn't have to go into that.
but I'm just letting them. We just got on camera, turned it on. I'm not trying to. It is what it is. But anyway, tonight I wanted to cover a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I think needs to be discussed. It's not discussed enough. But men and mental illness, men and mental health. So to start this conversation off, I actually wrote some notes.
Are we talking specifically about black men, or just men in general? Because,
You know, that's a good question. Right
'cause
now,
I feel like black men have an added stress is an understatement.
you know what?
It really is an understatement.
You know what? You know what? I'm glad you said that. So because you're right. So tonight we want to talk about. I want to get this to black men. I want to be honest. I want to be open. Once again, this is my thoughts, my opinions. Take it or leave it.
Mine too.
I know, Jules. I'm saying just some of the things I'm about to talk about. Earlier this week, or last week, I heard Judge Lynn Toler, I believe that's her name.
I don't remember her name.
Okay,
Is
on
it the one that I said looks like a prettier version of Dana Omarosa?
no.
Oh, it's the one with the short hair.
On the
She's
short hair,
really
yeah.
cute, too.
I heard her on the Breakfast. Lord have mercy. Everybody always talking.
I got something to say. Hey! You got something to say. Hey! We all got something to say. Hey! So have your morning coffee with the Ballatts today.
And she said something that really struck me, and that I'm like, yo, I got to talk about this, and I want to talk about it from my perspective too. But this is what she said about mental illness, and I see that Taraji now she has a book coming out, and she's dealing with this same topic. But what everyone keeps saying is that men aren't talking about it. You can go back through our videos. I've been talking about this for a long time now, but the more light that gets shed on this topic, I think the better it becomes.
Let's jump into it.
But this is what she said. She said, the thing about mental illness is this. If someone has cancer or they break their arm or some type of terminal illness, you feel bad for them. And I'm like, true. She said the thing about mental illness is that many times when mental illness comes out, it's annoying, and nobody wants to be
People are
around.
insensitive.
Well, what she said was that nobody wants to be around anybody annoying, and I started to think about that. She said because a lot of times,
That's true, though.
she said a lot of times with mental illness,
true.
the person is talking a lot,
Yeah.
and they're moving a lot, and they're doing things, and it's just annoying. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, because even in my own personal life, I'm like, yeah, there's times where to my wife, I've been just annoying.
Are you saying mentally ill?
No, I'm not saying I'm mentally ill, but I have had bouts of depression, things I've had to deal with, emotions that I'm learning and still trying to get under control. But in a relationship setting, those things are annoying to you. Right?
They can be annoying.
No, I'm being honest.
They can be annoying, but what I thought about when you said that was, I work closely, obviously you know, that I work closely with senior citizens. And so sometimes, sometimes you do deal with those issues
Right.
as they kind of start to decline. And yes, it does.
Yeah, mental illness.
You have to
correct.
really be unbelievably
Right.
patient.
Right.
Because
mental illness,
it can be annoying.
and so look, the thing about men is that when we start dealing with these things, it comes across as anger. It comes across as rage. A lot of times when it comes to men, we smoke more, we drink more, sexual promiscuity happens more, because inside of us, we're trying to understand what to do with all these emotions. And then there's this other aspect to it that when I heard her speaking about it, that I began to think about my own personal life. It's like at 47 years old, I've had a phenomenal life. I've had a phenomenal career, but then now I have made and I'm making a lot of lifestyle changes, things that I didn't really plan for. And I had quite several setbacks that I didn't think I would have. And so over the past 2 or 3 years, it caused me to begin to rethink some things. Like, were you really that smart? You know what I'm saying? Were you really that talented? Did God really bless you with that? Or was that just a fluke? And I say these things not to say that God didn't do them things, but these are questions that men begin to ask themselves. And the thing about black men is that we don't talk. We talk a lot. We talk a lot to our boys, but I'm talking about talk in terms of what are your emotions saying? Because America, in my opinion, this whole mental illness thing comes down to a double-edged sword. Because on one hand, you want the black man to talk and share and get help and be a better man, but then on the other side, when he starts talking and crying, then you calling him, weak. And I don't care what you say. Maybe you are not saying, maybe you're not saying I'm weak, but the world that a black man lives in considers him as weak. So how do we begin to deal with all these issues? How do we begin to deal with it? It's a double-edged sword. See, I can be a celebrity on TV and talk about mental illness and write a book and all these other things, and the world's going to clap. But what about the guy who works at the post office? What about the guy who works for Comcast Cable, driving a truck, depressed every single day because he don't know what to really do with his life? What about that guy? And that's the guy who I would like to reach. I'm sorry, I'm a little passionate there.
That's okay.
Go ahead, babe.
Everybody's just drugged up nowadays.
Of course.
You said, what do we do? Everybody's popping pills.
But
that's a reality.
And
what I thought about as you were speaking is we tend to just say, oh, he's having a midlife crisis.
Yes. Thank you.
And what we do with this issue, like every other issue, and this is something that I say all the time, is we address the symptoms. We don't get to the root of the problem.
Correct.
And like you said, you do get, when you're dealing with this person closely, like when it's a spouse or say when
a
it's
relative.
A parent.
Right. It's annoying.
You kind of just like, whatever, and it's
because in your mind, you see a 6'1" grown man, and you're like, why can't he help himself? Can I tell you something? I know it. But brothers, let me speak from truth. There have been times when I wake up in the morning and I'm questioning myself, like, I don't even want to move today. And I'm like, why, Robert, why do you feel this way? And I have no clue why I even feel this way. But my wife just said something really interesting. You got to get to the root of the problem. And that's what all this comes about. Being depressed is a form of mental illness. I'm not talking about schizophrenia. Go ahead, babe.
Go ahead.
I'm not talking, because there's certain things that we need to go get, that we need professional help for. If you're thinking about suicide, you got to go get help ASAP. That's not a joke. I've thought about suicide, but not to the point where I'm going to commit suicide. At different points in times in my life, it's been a thought like, well, what if I'm not here anymore? Does my life serve a purpose anymore? And all of these things, it's like, who do we talk to about these things?
You know what my answer is going to be.
Well, no. I know it's God. It is the grace of God while I'm still sitting here.
Yeah. Because, honestly, years ago, I've dealt with all those same issues,
right,
too. Obviously, not from a male perspective.
Right.
What I wanted to say, and so that's always going to be my answer.
I'm sorry, I'm a little passionate.
Because I know he never fails.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I've gotten, it's not something that I say like a cliche. It's because I know personally, because I've had in my past, and literally, like the old Jamillah and the present Jamillah is night and day.
Correct. Right.
Night and day.
I got
look back at who I was 10 years ago, and I'm like, I don't know who that person. I almost I don't recognize her.
You know what, honey?
But wait, let me say
I'm
this
sorry,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
Let me say this real quick because I don't want to get off the topic. We were talking. I was at the mothers and millennials brunch that I went to maybe a couple months back, and one of the topics that came up was like, what do you tell your sons when they get pulled over by the police?
Because the black man face a lot of issues, yo.
I listen a lot. I've always been very observant from the time I was a child, so I listened to everybody's answers, and everybody again addressed the symptom. Well, what should you do? How should you respond? Where should his hands be? And I find that my observation was this. Where is just the care and concern for the fact that this is something that black men are going, just the care and concern for what is it like to carry that fear every single day? What is it like to carry that fear? Because it's so easy to say, this is how you should respond. But as a black man, look, I'm a woman, and I grew up seeing and hearing all the stories about the violence and the killings, lynchings, and it's too many things to even try to name. But that left me with certainly a bitterness, and how it's easy to say this is what you should do if you get stopped, but I don't know. I'm not so sure if I wasn't a black man, if I might just go off. I don't know. You don't know what it is to carry that.
True.
That. Just knowing every single day what could happen to you for no reason other than the fact that you are a black man.
Right.
So I'm like, my point is, we need to address the mental, the spiritual well-being of our men.
Thank you.
And I wanted to share too that when
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's what we need to be more concerned about. And that's not an easy job.
It's not an easy job.
But that should be the focus, more so than what do we tell them to do.
And it's not to belittle women. It's not
to say, all.
It's not to say, honey, it's not to say that you're it's not that. It's just the issue is, I could feel this inside me because I live this every day. I live the frustration of, yes, I trust God. Point blank, yes, I trust God. But it doesn't minimize how I feel inside at times, where I'll go home and I'm like, God, let me get home safe. Because no matter what happens, this woman right here wants to see my face walking in the door. Period. Driving the speed limit. Make sure my paperwork in my car is right. It's so many little things.
I wanted to share this also.
Go ahead, babe.
The difference for me is always going to be God. And not just, so I trust him on so many levels. One being that where my husband is concerned, I go to him constantly for understanding. And he's really taught me some very, very valuable things about what he's going through personally, what's going on inside of him at times. And so as a spouse, sometimes you really, really have to just, if you love your spouse, there's got to be times where you just put yourself aside and you focus on.
It's hard.
No, it's not always hard.
Well, it can be.
It's not always hard. You just have to be willing to do it.
You can, but when. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm talking about from being a spouse.
Finish your point. Right.
You're not married to you. I am.
No. But what I'm saying is, when he's going through that, and I'm annoying you, it can be challenging. No, I'm serious, honey. I remember.
Way back at a point.
Okay, come on. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You don't need me for this one, babe.
Yes, I do. Go ahead.
I'm going to eat dinner.
No, go ahead, babe.
Okay. Go ahead, honey.
No, go ahead, babe.
I wanted to share also that I remember one time I was about, I probably was about 35 at the time. And up until that point of my life, I saw my father a certain way, right? And what stayed with me the most at that time, not now, but at that time in my life, was that he was angry a lot. A lot of my memories were of him being angry. And like I said, that's how I saw him then, not now. And one day I remember God just speaking to me. I was grocery shopping. I was in Walmart. And I just heard him say loud and clear, it's hurt. Mm-hmm. It's hurt. Mm-hmm. And I never before that moment stopped to think he might be carrying some things. There may be some disappointment. There were disappointments.
Yo, men carry the weight of the world.
Exactly.
Men carry the weight of the world.
Exactly. We all get hurt. Period. We all get disappointed. But for some reason, we don't stop often enough and think what might be bothering my husband. And sometimes, granted, it is difficult to get them to open up and talk. But that's when you have to be mature and strong enough as a woman to control your mouth, do your best to control your attitude, pray. Even if it's a 2-minute prayer, you have to be able to sometimes just pull back and pull away before you hurt him worse.
Right.
Because, yes, honey. So yes, we want our partners to be considerate of our feelings, but as women, sometimes I think we have to just be more mindful of also showing the consideration.
Right, and I'm thinking about both sides. So
that's what I'm saying. It is
right. No. But what I'm saying is, I need to put what you said in context, because I ain't talking about no dude who ain't doing nothing for you. I'm sorry, I ain't talking about no guy who just want to play video games all day long and you carrying the brunt of it. That's not what we're talking about, right?
Oh yeah, because I don't.
Right.
Too.
That's what I'm saying. I want to put it in context.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the men. Listen, I want to go back real quick. When I was listening to this interview, it was a couple of things that stuck out to me. Number one, these things can be annoying. Nobody wants to see a grown-ass man on a couch like this. And then most of the time, if you say what's wrong, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
And we can see.
I'm good.
Your wife knows when you're not good.
Of course you can. But our response is I'm good, because how in the world can I articulate, well, honey, I'm feeling a little emotional today. Not
like that, babe.
But that's my point. We can't say it that way.
Okay, because you made it sound funny, babe. You just made it sound funny.
Okay, it sounds funny.
It's the way you say it.
Right, I know it's funny the way I said it, but what I'm attempting to do is I'm trying to talk to the grown man that's still hurt. I'm trying to talk to a grown man, but the little boy in him is still hurt.
Okay, so what do you want to say?
So when we start thinking about all of these things, but you said something, and that you gotta go back to the source. When I look at my life, I've had some tremendous successes, and that's one of the things that she said, Judge Lynn. She's talking about her father, because he was bipolar, but he was a lawyer. He was brilliant, and one of the things that she said was, because he was bipolar, the other side of him made him a success. He became a success. He was a lawyer above lawyers. But when he got home, he was a totally different dictator. And so I began to think about myself, because I'm like, well, how did I achieve such success in one regard, but then sometimes when I'm with you, I feel so broken. I don't feel that way all the time, but there's times.
Do you think you know the answer? Or no?
Do I think I know the answer?
What do you think you've learned?
I think I'm learning.
Okay.
I think subconsciously, not on purpose, but there's something when I was younger where it was communicated that I wasn't shit.
I'm biting my tongue on that one.
It was communicated that I wasn't shit. The older I became...
You mean directly?
Directly and indirectly.
Okay.
Some of it's indirectly.
You want to say who? Like, or...
No, I don't need to.
No, you don't need to. I don't mean specifically, but...
Oh. Well, good.
Because if you're going to talk about it, talk about it. You don't have to say
As I got older... As I got older... I really found that there was something that God put inside of me that was special. I was able to harness that purpose and redirect it and become great at some things. The funny thing is, fellas, is that no matter how much success we achieve, the world claps and the world applauds, but that doesn't mean we got healed. Since I've been married a second time, my healing process has been just, and I talk about healing like, oh my God, we're just healing. It's just so beautiful. No, I'm talking blood, sweat, tears, questioning myself, doubting myself. The Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. I've been double-minded, yo.
Thank you.
I've been double-minded.
Babe, the only reason I say thank you is because I really think that people, when they see a public
figure,
image,
yeah. Exactly.
They really think that's all there is
especially
to a person.
with men. Especially with men. We praise the public figure of a man, but he can be disgusting privately.
So I think it may have looked to some like, oh, she gets to be Robert's wife, but it has not been an easy
Of course, no, it
task
hasn't been easy. Hell no.
at all. I just know.
I know at times I'm a problem.
I didn't say you're a problem.
I'm saying it though. And I don't want to be towards you. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't want to be. I want to be mild-mannered, calm.
I know that.
Dude, sometimes I'm angry all the time for no reason. A couple of weeks ago, we went to go get some West Indian food over here by where we live, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I call you Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch, yeah, Mr. Grumpfish.
Who's Grumpfish, babe?
I don't know. And the guy behind the counter said to my wife, your husband never smiles, does he?
He's... yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead. What did he say?
He said, I'm the smiley one and you never smile.
I never smile. And it bothered me because I'm like, yo, what happened to me?
It's true.
What? Dude.
But you laugh and smile a lot at home, like when we're playing. When we're playing around, you're
yeah, because brother, sometimes you go out in the world, it's like, yo, like. Anyway.
You can be the
this is a big topic.
Biggest clown.
This is a big topic. I'm not trying to paint a picture of gloom and doom. I'm just trying to paint a reality because there's some real men going through. There's some real men going through this. And there's real marriages that are hurting because a man doesn't really know what's wrong.
And the wife,
and he got money.
The wife doesn't necessarily understand.
And the wife doesn't understand. And she's crying every night because, yo, what's wrong with my man? I've been praying for him. We have sex, we doing this, we doing that, and he still ain't happy.
No, I wouldn't even say that they're having sex necessarily. I think a lot of times it's the things that are lacking that the woman is focused on.
Well, we were having sex and we're still going through it.
Oh, yeah. What? Babe, what?
I'm saying during these time periods, our sexual life doesn't stop.
Did you hear my point?
I know, but I'm just trying to make a point. Go ahead.
I said a lot of times women are, those are the complaints, is, well, he doesn't do this, and I need him to cuddle with me, or I don't feel like he desires me, or I don't feel like he wants me, and they don't really understand what's really going on with him. It may not be you. It may not be you at all.
He in his sunken place. It's funny. Yo.
You keep sounding like you're trying to be funny.
Yo, I know I'm sounding... I know it sounds like I'm trying to be funny, but to the man that's watching me, you can understand what I'm about to say. You feel like you're in a sunken place.
Now you're in a sunken place. Now you're in a sunken place.
You're moving through life and you're going to work, but you're in this dark hole and you're looking around like, when is this going to change? When am I going to get out of this? Right? Okay, maybe it's just
like you're in a dark hole?
But at times, it feels like I'm in a damn sunken place.
You need the Lord.
I do have the Lord. But at times, I'm not saying this always, but there have been times in my life recently, over the past several years, where it feels as though you're in the daggone sunken place and you're sitting in this chair and you can see the world revolving around you. And it's not literal, it's just how you feel inside. But you can't communicate that to nobody because they're going to think you're crazy. And that's exactly what happens. But to the man watching me, like, yo,
babe, you don't know what I'm not.
I know you're not laughing at me, but to the man watching me, you'll be like, yo, he's speaking truth. I do feel that way. And so I said all of these things to hopefully say, okay, now we can identify. Now let's get help. Now let's get help for our anxiety. Now let's get help so we can smile. And so I'm not coming home every day being Mr. Grumpfish.
Hey, who is Mr. Grumpfish?
Some little daggone cartoon. I got it from Rob. Rob told me.
Oh, Lord.
Let me say this, because I laugh and joke to make light of it, but it's really serious. Right before we got married, I had a lot of anxiety. I had an anxiety attack in my mind. The closer we got to our wedding, we had 2 wedding dates. The first wedding date, the closer I got to it, the reason why we had 2 is because I got chicken for the first one. The closer I got to it, I started looking at habits, and I'm thinking, well, what if she, is just using me? And I put all of my past issues on Jamillah.
I'm not that chick.
And so I had to get help. So
I didn't even give you reason to think that.
No.
No, I just think it's important.
I know you want to be clear, but I know that.
Honey.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because I just wanted to make that point.
Well, honey, if it
that
go ahead, babe.
You can believe something even though there's no real basis for you thinking that. It's just
But that's what anxiety.
You're just.
But that's what anxiety is.
I know, Robert Ballatts.
That's what anxiety is.
So that's the point. Is that that's what it's like. Something is going on, and it's very real, and it is happening,
fellas.
But it's not actually happening,
fellas.
Out here,
but up here it's real.
Yeah, that's some frustration right there.
That's what I'm saying, babe. That's the whole point of this. It's like, yo, we deal with these things, and so the closer we got to our first wedding date, I wanted to go see a psychiatrist. I'm going to go see a doctor. I'm like, you know what? Let me go get help. Because I love her. I know I loved her. I'm like, then what the hell is the problem?
I never seen somebody want to get married more in my life. And then all of a sudden I was like, why are you not even talking about it?
I had horrible anxiety, the fear of it. So the closer we got to the wedding day, let me slow down a little bit.
He became chicken pox.
Because I'm very passionate about this topic, as y'all can see. Because I feel like as men, this conversation is very double-sided. Because you want us to get help, people want us to get help, but then when we get help, it seems as though it can be frowned upon.
Men don't usually get help. Men don't usually
We
get help.
don't, because it seems as though this can be frowned upon. Nobody wants to see a weak man.
Not just that. It's not just that.
Okay.
For a lot of men, that is... that's an insult. I don't need to.
True.
Typically,
True.
men, if a wife suggests it, men will respond, I don't need to go. I ain't going. I don't need nobody to tell me. That type of response.
True.
It's a defensive, very defensive.
That's us. That's me. That's me anyway.
Because they feel like that means there's a weakness if I need to go talk to somebody.
And why the hell do I want to feel weak? Half my life, I felt weak. I felt powerless as a boy. I felt powerless as a teenager. In my 20s, I felt powerless. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm 47 now. I don't feel like I gained any power till about 35. And so now, I'm ODing on power because I refuse to let anybody take advantage of me for one split second. I know it's not right because you got to have some leeway. I'm just saying how I feel. Let me wrap this story up. Then we can wrap this up. I know this is a big topic, and I'm trying to cram everything in I can't.
You cannot do that.
Okay, we'll be back with this one, though. I wanted to go see a psychiatrist before we got married.
A psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a psychiatrist.
Okay.
Black woman. Sat down, had a conversation. Maybe about 40 minutes into the session, I talked so daggone much that it clicked. I was just afraid. I was afraid of being used again. I was afraid of being lied to again, cheated on again. It clicked, but I got help. I'm not a bitch because I went to get help. And I guess out of all
I suggested it.
Oh, absolutely, you suggested it. Because she was like, okay, why don't you just go talk to somebody because this ain't working. Like, you got to go.
I was like, something is not right.
Yeah. Something wasn't right. But brothers, we got to get help.
But not to put him down is because, like, I genuinely in my heart I just care for you. And so I was, like, at my wit's end. And I'm just like, gotta get help.
So maybe there's
because I didn't want to lose you, too. So I'm like, well, let's get help. Let's get some help.
So maybe there's a marriage watching us, and maybe you don't know. Maybe you're at your wit's end. Yo, listen. Play this video. I don't know. I'm gonna be back about this topic because there's so much I want to say. But let me just recap this real quick. When it comes to mental illness, there's so many different classifications for it. You have depression, schizophrenia, bipolar. It's a bunch of stuff. Some of the stuff you just need an expert for. The stuff that I had to deal with, we're functional. I work every day, make money. I'm able to budget. We don't have no craziness going on in our life.
And you are a great husband too at the same time. So it doesn't mean you're like this nut
exactly
running around haywire.
Right. Thank you.
He has haywire moments.
I have.
I do. Haywire moments.
I do.
But he's honestly great man, great character, great husband. So it doesn't mean like you're just, because I think there's always been that stigma of like a nut. Somebody just being a nut.
And that's why guys don't want to get help because like, yo, I'm not crazy. Yo, I'm not crazy. I don't walk around like, yeah.
Right.
I ain't doing all that.
We always think if somebody looks fine, that they are fine. And that if a person is suffering with any type of mental illness, like they're going to be walking down the street smacking themselves.
Exactly.
And but you can look perfectly fine.
Thank you.
You can even come off as if you
polished,
don't have a problem
sharp
in the world. And like I said, your image to the world was very, very, very strong. But there was a whole lot of times in private where it was like, this is just my big baby. Mm-hmm. Like I just gotta care for him. And not vice versa too. Which is normal, I think, in any marriage. But yeah.
I think it's a big topic, I tried to cram a lot in.
To not suffer,
I think it's a conversation that we have to have again.
But we didn't even get to the added stress of just being a black man in America.
Thank you.
We didn't even get to
because
that.
A lot of it is where it's coming from. Yo, just be a couple of weeks ago,
we act like that's not a factor, and it's a huge.
It's a huge factor. It's a huge factor, and so I'm not knocking, and my Caucasian brothers, my Asian brothers. I'm not knocking anybody.
It's not to diminish.
True. What I'm saying is, as a black man, there is an added stress. There is a little bit more that I feel the need to prove.
it's a lot more, but we will do that again because
We will.
obviously that's
I'm
going
gonna
to
be
take
back.
some time.
There's some other stuff that I want to do, that I want to push the limit a little bit with this particular topic. And my wife and I are going to come back with some specials on this so that we can begin to make this more comfortable. Because
And
there's
not only that.
there's a lot of marriages that are hurting. A lot of marriages that are hurting because, brother, I feel you. Just go talk to somebody. Or
Hurting
inbox me.
or just ending.
Yeah.
Ending.
Because it comes out, see, again, it comes out in annoying ways. Or it comes out in lying, drinking, smoking, cheating, because,
Withdrawal. Sometimes it's just withdrawal.
Yeah.
So the wife feels neglected because he won't open up. He won't say what's going on. He comes home. He doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't want to talk to the kids.
Yep.
So it's a very important topic. It
It's
can
a
be
very
very,
important
very
topic, right.
painful. Very.
So this is a groundbreaking topic. Where we just starting out. I wanted to pull these little key factors in. And you can have God and still be going through this. I have God. I believe in Christ. Christ in me is my hope. And we are working through this together.
He definitely has Christ. You know why I'm saying that? Because it's nothing like watching you like really, really do your best to behave differently, react differently, to be more, take the time to listen and to not just, do what you would have done and what you've always done.
Right. Trying to change the
And
habits.
I
Because some
think
of the things are habits.
So the growth that has taken place, and it has started years ago, and it just continues. You have continued to grow and mature in your personal life and in your spiritual life, and I see the fruit of it. So there is definitely
Good.
hope. God is good. God is faithful. Definitely hope.
One of the things, really quickly, when we're dealing with depression or trying to motivate yourself, brothers, when you go in the morning, put some hip hop on. For some reason, hip hop, as funny as this is, I love
Not
praising.
all of it.
I'm not talking about all the cursing stuff. Okay, let me clarify that. I listen to Run DMC, LL Cool J, Believe My Radio, I Like It
listening.
Loud, I'm the man with the box that'll rock the crowd, going down the street to the hardcore beat as my JVCs vibrate the concrete. I'm sorry if you can't understand, but I need a radio inside my hand. Don't mean to offend of a citizen, but I kick my
Then
volume.
you can do the whole song?
So anyway, my point is that there's certain moments where I need to jolt myself because I feel myself doing this inside. And so it's like, yo, stop. Because it's habits that we form. Look, I hope this helped. Prayer,
Be encouraged.
read your Bible,
Be
be encouraged.
Yeah.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
And you could be definitely
Thank you for being
better
patient
off
with me.
next year this time. If you are struggling with these things, you can definitely be better off next year. Like I said, he has continued to gradually grow and get better and get better and get better. And well, next time, maybe next time we'll share.
If you guys are having an event at your church, you want us to come and talk about this topic, or if you have a women's event to see how she has personally dealt with a man dealing with these things.
Because we got a lot more to say.
Exactly. Give us a call, email us, blah, blah, blah. I'm Robert Ballett.
And I'm Jamillah Ballatts.
We are the Ballatts. And remember,
You're
you're welcome.